Welcome to Your Wealth Matters. I'm Janet Kim Singh, and I'm joined today by my fellow colleague, Maria Dawes. Maria, nice to see you here. Today we're covering some tips on how to set yourself up successfully for retirement. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start with tip number 1. So Maria?
Yeah, so the first one that we'll talk about is maximize your time horizon. So we've all heard of the concept of compounding returns, and really what that means is you want to start as young as possible to save for retirement. And there are a ton of competing priorities for each dollar, we know that, but even if you can put $25 a month, $100 a month into a retirement account when you're really young, in your 20s, and then grow that over time as your income increases, that makes a huge difference over the long run because you have the luxury of compounding those returns. And so Janet, what else is important?
So we're moving on to tip number 2, and that is choosing the appropriate investments for your circumstances. Too many times we see clients, they're outstretching on the risk side in what should be, their golden years, and this can actually backfire dramatically. Risk is a double-edged sword. So as much as it can increase your ability to generate stronger returns, the same can happen to the downside. Generally speaking, we should be looking to have a more growth-oriented portfolio, which may contain more equities in the earlier years of investing. And once you are in the drawdown phase of life, and assuming that you followed Maria's tip number 1, which is saving more in those wealth generating years, it's likely that your portfolio will then shift to gradually become more income oriented, with the goal of having less volatility in those later years when there's less time to recover. That's very generally speaking, and obviously can be very different depending on a lot of different factors. So Maria, tip number 3.
Yeah, so tip number 3 might be obvious, but it's not always done regularly. So it's reevaluating your portfolio. So life changes, your circumstances change, you go through different phases of life, and the investment markets change and opportunities change. So it's really important that you sit down with an advisor, or you sit down with your partner or your spouse and talk through what are the important goals and objectives that we need to work through and think through when it comes to the goals in our portfolio, and is the investment mix that we currently have, are the savings goals that we've applied, are they really relevant to where we are today? So having regular timelines for when you review your portfolio, when you review your financial plan, your goals is really important. That might be 6 months, it might be annually, it should at least be done annually.
Very good. So moving on to tip number 4, and this is a biggie. This is avoid those knee-jerk reactions. So it can really make or break your savings goals. And I don't know if you're one of those people that's logging onto your portfolio every day, and maybe you see something that's of concern. It doesn't necessarily warrant an overhaul of your entire allocation. Sometimes it can be hard to see the forest for the trees. So as distressing as it can be to see maybe a number that's not to your liking, first thing is take a deep breath, and then ask yourself, is this in line with my expectations? If so, then walk away and come back another day. Because it's important to remember that unless your portfolio is completely risk-free, it's likely that your path is not going to be a straight line up. Blips can happen, and hopefully they're very short-term and on the longer path to growth. So we need to be able to recognize those blips versus a long-term trend. It can be tempting to chase those returns, buying into inflated markets, being tempted to sell after a rough patch, especially with, FOMO. We see the markets reaching new highs. Don't be tempted by the latest flavor of the month or something that may be here and gone tomorrow. Try to stay the planned course. Now, having said that, if your portfolio return is not shaping up in line with your expectations within that expected time frame, and you feel you've gone off course, then our last tip is for you. Maria?
Yeah, so our last tip is don't be afraid to ask questions. We want to serve you. We want to help. I know lots of financial advisors all have the same mindset. That's why we're in this business. And so making sure that we're communicating clearly, that you're, expressing your goals, your expectations, and that we have good understanding of what is supposed to be in your portfolio, what is suitable for your situation, and I guess what the expectations would be for an experience with your portfolio. That's all that we want to communicate and that we want to have that conversation with you. So no knee-jerk reactions doesn't necessarily mean you don't ask, because that sometimes can help inform you and make you more comfortable with the situation, with whatever it might be. So hopefully this helped to kind of frame the some thoughts around saving for retirement and setting yourself up for success. So do we want to quickly summarize our points? 5 ways to stay on track for retirement. Janet, number 1.
Number 1, maximize your time horizon. Start saving today. Start small, stay consistent, and reevaluate often.
Number 2, choose your investments that match your stage of life. Early on, lean into growth, and later on, you'll probably be transitioning to more income and stability.
Number 3 is reevaluate when life changes. Your plan should evolve with you.
Number 4 is avoid knee-jerk reactions. Stick to your strategy. Don't chase the trends. This is easy to say, hard to do.
And number 5, ask questions. If something doesn't feel right, speak up. We're here to help.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today on another edition of Your Wealth Matters, and we'll see you next time.